What's up with you guys, man? It's your boy Trey Rue, and this is my review of the Fuji X100v. Now, I've had this camera for just a little under a year, to be a year within 5 more days. And I just wanted to kind of give you guys my opinion on this camera as a hobbyist, professional photographer, whatever you want to call it. This thing is a beast, man, and I bought it because we were getting ready to go to Vegas for our wedding. That was in August of last year. And I got the camera in May just to kind of get used to using it and stuff like that. Used it a ton before we went to Vegas and then used it a ton after we got home from Vegas. So I'll be putting pictures and stuff on the screen to kind of show you guys what it actually looks like. This camera is my everyday carry. I use it a ton, man. Like if I got any family functions or anything that we got going on, I'm usually bringing this, and I got my little Fuji Instax printer right here. Usually keep this with me too, so that way whenever we take pictures and stuff, I can print them straight from here, out here, and then get Polaroid. So I got some pictures laying around here somewhere. Oh, here you go. So like when the friends come over, get in the studio and stuff, print them out. But I got a bunch of studio session photos inside of here. This is what the actual film comes in. So I just took it out, took the bottom plate out and stuck the photos that I don't want to lose inside of here. But yes, it's actually a very convenient way of using the camera, you know, taking pictures and then printing them out. If you're into photography, you know about this little thing. It is a hit on the market right now, hit everywhere, all over the internet. Fuji groups on Facebook, Instagram. This camera is not cheap, especially for it to be a point and shoot, right? I use it exactly as a point and shoot. I've used it for some professional work, if you want to call it, some paid gigs, I should say. I used it for some paid gigs and it actually came out pretty dope. So you can use this camera for portrait sessions and all that stuff, but I kind of use it for more day-to-day documenting and doing more of a like journalism approach or like documentary photography. But like I said, I've used it on paid gigs, whether it's portrait sessions, prom photos, anything like that. I've used this bad boy. So let's get into some of my favorites about the camera, and then let's get into some of my cons that I don't like about the camera. I won't be super technical because I'm not a technical guy. I know there's plenty other videos you can go watch that have the tech specs and all this stuff. And, you know, I just want to give you guys an opinion from somebody who does this as a hobby and has a love for photography and everything like that. So, all right, so this Fuji camera is a 23mm f2 lens. It's a 35mm equivalent because it's an APS-C camera, which means it's cropped. Get more of that wide angle lens. You can do raw photography on here. Me, myself personally, I do just JPEGs, but sometimes like if I'm doing a professional shoot or portrait work, I'll do RAWs and JPEG just in case I don't like the JPEG image that comes out. But that's usually what I do. The camera has a 26.1 megapixel sensor, which means there's plenty for your day-to-day shooting. Excellent color reproduction, just as any Fuji camera is. I myself would like to think as Fuji as the GOAT brand. You know, all you Canon boys and stuff, don't come in my comments because I will flame you. And they say this thing is geared toward professionals. While that is true, I also would like to believe that the X100v is a great point and shoot camera for anyone who has a love for photography, whether you're a pro level or a hobbyist like myself. All right, some of my favorite features of the Fuji is the functional dial. So having everything here, let me turn my light this way. Damn, my light won't turn. So the functional dials are my thing, like the clickiness. Just being able to do that, and then the shutter, like it just gives me vintage vibes, like shooting like this, like it's just everything to me. I love the fact that you got the optical viewfinder and the LED. You can swap between the two. It is good to be able to use that OVF at nighttime, so that way you can kind of do more point and shoot, if you will. I actually love the flash on the camera as well. Super super, give you that super nostalgic vibe when you use the flash, and you can control how much of flash you want. Love the fact that they got the built-in ND. So with this camera here, you don't need any NDs to screw on the front. You could do that still if you wanted to, but it's built-in ND. I got mine set to where if I pull this little lever right here, I hold it, the ND will turn on. And I usually keep a 1.14 Tiffin Pro Mist filter on here, trying to get that highlight bloom. The tilting screen also kind of comes in handy sometimes. I don't really use it as much because I'm usually taking pictures like this. So, you know, I gotta get out of the habit of taking pictures and then looking at them to kind of get back into that point and shoot field. But you know, when you're taking pictures, you want them to look good. So just one of those things that I gotta get away from. I love how small and compact this is. It's a lot bigger because I have the weatherproofing adapter on here, and I also have this square lens hood with my filter underneath it. But if you strip all of that down, you can actually pocket this camera. I can pocket the camera with it being like this as well. The LED on the back is pretty good as well. I've seen better coming from cinema cameras and stuff because I do video as well. But for a photography camera, this screen is actually pretty smooth. It's actually pretty neat. My favorite thing about the Fuji system, which is getting back into shooting RAW and JPEG, is the fact that you can do film simulations to make your photos look more filmic, if you will, take off that digital edge. While a lot of people don't care for it because they say it doesn't look like true film or anything like that, I am a part of that group that loves the look that comes out of Fuji with JPEG, so that's really all I use. Some of my favorite film recipes is the Kodachrome 64, Portra 400v II, and then the Superior 800. Those are my three that I keep on my camera at all times. I also have a black and white. I think it's the Koda Tri 400, X400, I think is what it is. I'll put them all up on the screen so that way you can see what it looks like, or pictures from it so that way you can see what it looks like. But that's pretty much how I use it in terms of taking pictures on it. The cons for me would be the battery life. Battery life is not all that. It is decent for it to be a small camera as it is, as you can see. I could probably take 2 batteries and be good for the course of a day, but you know, when you're taking pictures, you know, I turn it off after I'm not taking pictures. If you're a street photographer or anything and you're running around taking pictures, you're not gonna want to turn your camera off because you want to be able to snap those shots in an instant. So that's one con I would say. But like I said, if you keep some batteries on, you won't have to worry about it. I just turn my camera off after I'm done shooting. A lot of settings inside of the camera that you can change in terms of like recipes, film simulations and stuff. Fuji has their simulations in here, which if you go to like Fuji X Weekly, you can go through and tweak everything to get it to be how you want it. Really, the battery life is the only con for me, man. I would love to give it another. I guess if I had to give it another con, I don't like the way the ISO dial is underneath the shutter speed dial, so you gotta like pull it up on this one. On the older ones, you had to pull it up and hold it, but this one you just pull it up and then you kind of twist it. Usually keep my ISO on auto though. ISO on auto, shutter speed is usually on auto as well, and I just do all aperture priority stuff. That way I can get the feel that I want. That way I can do aperture, and then I can adjust my exposure compensation to get the lighting that I would want, or raise the shadows, lower the highlights or anything like that. If I had to give this camera another con, it would be the focus dial. Hate how it's like fly-by-wire, so when you move it, you can kind of tell that it's not actually moving anything. But it is a digital camera, so it kind of makes sense. The autofocus on here is not really all that good in low light and well-lit situations. It will be fast and tactile, but in low light situations, you probably gonna want to go with manual focus just to make sure you can kind of get the actual image that you're looking for, because it'll hunt for a while when you're in autofocus. But I took plenty pictures when we were in Vegas. And the way I use the camera is I don't delete anything that I've taken on this camera in terms of like photos or anything. So like if I take a picture on here, they're all still here. Like all of the pictures from Vegas are still here. All of the pictures after Vegas are still on here. I kind of treat it as if it was like a real film camera. You know, when you take pictures on a film camera, you can't delete those. You just take them into the computer or scan them in, or however you view your film pictures, and then you just, you know, you go through and then you don't post the ones that you don't like. That's the way I do it. Take the pictures, put them on the computer, put them in a photo album, name it whatever I'm going to name it, and then just go from there. Format the memory card, but I still keep all of the pictures on my computer. Even though I haven't actually formatted the card for the pictures that I've taken since I've had the camera. So yeah, man, I want to say that's pretty much it as of right now. This is just my 1 year with it. Probably do a video on it later on down the line, kind of showing you guys how it's held up. Let me see how many shots I've actually taken on the camera. I bought it off of eBay, and it only has 6,000 shots on it. And most of those are probably for me. I think when I got it might have been like 2,000 or something like that. The guy who had it didn't really use it as much. Bought it from him in the Fuji group on Facebook and been using it ever since. Yeah, man, enjoy the rest of these pictures that I'm going to post up on the screen now. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This is the Wolf Ticket channel, so we're going to be doing more content. Want to do stuff like music videos, of course, more breakdowns of music videos, more camera reviews, more vlogging style type of stuff, more documentary style stuff as well. So if you're interested in any of that kind of stuff, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and tap in with us, man, and enjoy the journey. All right, peace. See you.